Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vaitathya Prakaran of Mandukya Upanishad is the contribution of Gaudapadacharya, who was the Guru's Guru of Bhagwan Shankaracharya. That way, Mandukya Upanishad is only 12 mantras, and Upanishad is over by then. However, 3 more chapters are added. Therefore, all the students of Vedanta, they study Mandukya Karika. Karikas are the thoughts presented by Gaudapadacharya, and that adds a fragrance to the depth of these mantras. So before we go to the second chapter called the Vaitathya Prakaranam, we must know what happened in the first Agam Prakaranam. Agam is Upanishad. So in this Upanishad, first chapter, what happened? And what was the need for the second, third and fourth Karikas? What was the purpose? So for that we must have little idea about exactly what was said in the first chapter called as Agam Prakaranam. Mandukya Upanishad is one of the smallest and the ultimate thought presented in the Vedantic literature. To understand in today's world, what is the world? Recently we studied Durgdrishya Vivek in this retreat, and we were told Asti Bhati Priya Nama Rupa Iti Pancha Amshakam Adyatrayam Brahma Rupam Jagad Rupam Tatodvayam. What is this world? This world is Satchidananda plus names and forms. Out of these 5 aspects, like an ornament. What is an ornament? Gold plus names and forms. So in place of gold, keep Satchidananda, conscious blissful existence, and in place of the names and the forms is the name of the ornament, etc. See? Don't worry now. They are not going to read it. Leave it. Leave it now. So, thank God you stopped this noise. So, these names and forms, what is the position of the names and forms? And what is the position of the Satchidananda? This thing is the crux of the Mandukya Upanishad. So it is divided, if you see, in 2 parts. First 6 mantras, they talk about the life in its totality. And the next 6 mantras, they talk about the Om, which is a formula for explaining the total life. It is something like this. One child came from the school and asked his mother, "Mommy, do you know what is human body?" First time he heard that word. So, and his mother is a doctor by profession. So she said, "Yes, I know. There is a digestive system, there is a skeletal system, muscular system." He started laughing. "I know, you will talk all nonsense. What daddy tells about you is true. You know nothing." So the mother said, really? Then you tell me what it is. Then he told. Human body has head, trunk, hands, legs. Did you tell that? And how the child is taught? A picture is made of a human body and then arrows are there and in a box the label is given. So this is called as head, this is called as neck, this is called as stomach, etc. Exactly the same way. Our life is analyzed in this most mathematical and systematic manner. Our life includes 3 components: waking experiences, dream experiences and deep sleep experiences. What we call in Vedanta as avasthatraya viveka. Our life is not only waking, our life has also this other 2. And in this manner, these 3 are further analyzed. The one who is going through the experiences of the waking, he is called as a waker unless he is from Bengal and Nepal. If that person is from Bengal and Nepal, he will be called as baker. Because in these states, they don't know how to pronounce V, they say B. Like Karnataka people, they cannot end up the word like, Karnataka, they say Karnataka. See? The A is added. Every place has got its own beauty. So this waker, his waking world and waking experiences. These 3 together constitute the waking experience. Similarly, the dreamer, the dream world and the dream experiences. And the third one is the deep sleeper, the deep sleep experience and the deep sleep world. These are the 3 experiences through which every human being goes. When I said this thing somewhere after the lecture, one person asked me, there are many people who are academic. Academic students can never know the truth. Don't get lost in academics. Otherwise, instead of eating that food which is beautifully available, instead of eating, you will start asking, hey, how did you prepare this thing? Please tell me the recipe. And you keep on writing the recipe and the food becomes cold and you don't enjoy it at all. Eat and forget. See? But these academic oriented people, they cannot get rid of these academics. So, they keep on asking. So, one person asked me, Swamiji, you said waking, dream and deep sleep. Is this only for the human beings or also for the dogs? I said, what do you think of me? Am I a dog or what? You ask the dog whether he has got a waking, dream and deep sleep or not. How does it matter? What matters is we have to know ourselves. One basic principle I will tell you. Any question that erupts in your mind is a trick of the mind to take yourself away from the truth. Any question you take. When there is no question, there is no mind. When there is no mind, there you are. And you are the source of all happiness. But this happiness is covered by the ripples of thoughts, questions, doubts. So, these 3, waking, dream and deep sleep. The waker is technically called as the Vishwa, the dreamer is technically called as Tejas, and the deep sleeper is called as Prajna. So this is at the causal level, meaning any human being identified with the gross body, thereby taking this gross world as real and living as a waker and going through good and bad experiences, that phenomena is called as the Vishwa or the waker. Like the example, husband is what? Husband is not something, a solid reality. It is just a phenomenon. See? And anybody can be husband. So at the causal level, waker, similarly, when the experience is identification with the mind's modifications and experiencing the mental world, he is called as Tejas, that is also a phenomena. And thus the deep sleeper Pragya, identified with the absence of these two, waking and dream experiences, that becomes the object, he is called as the Pragya. So these are at the three causal level. Now this causal level, when we understand, we transcend the individuality. How we transcend individuality? Take the same example of husband. Every husband is miserable. This is just an example. Every husband is miserable. Because husband is not an individuality. It is just a phenomenon. It is a common noun. It is not a proper noun. But who is miserable? The proper noun is miserable. I, the husband, is miserable. And then he starts becoming more and more disturbed. But if he is told by the wise people, look here, you are miserable because you are taking things too seriously. Don't take seriously, But why she is stupid? See, if she was not stupid, who will marry you? The idea is, come out of your individuality and merge in the totality. But if you get lost in argument, then you will get buried under it. Therefore, these three things, waker, dreamer, deep sleeper with their world. Now this is how the picture is presented in the first chapter. Life as a whole, suppose you draw a picture. The waker along with the waking world is indicated by A or A. Then the Tejas, the dreamer with the dream world experiences, another arrow is indicated by U. And the Pragya or the deep sleeper along with his experiences is indicated by Ma. So like the chart, body of the man and the labels in the same manner, total life and the labels. So what is the total life? Total life is A, U, Ma, Om. See. So this Om is the name, and this Vishwa, Tejas, Pragya, the waker, dreamer and deep sleeper along with their respective experiences is the forms. So what is the world? World is names, Uma and the forms. If there is no form, there is no name required. When a child is not born, what name can we give? See, form and name, they always go together. And his name and the form, Nam Rupatmak Jagat, this is how the world is. After having told this, then the next question comes. Whose form and whose name? See? So we are told there is one reality which is supporting all the names and all the forms, and yet it is beyond all the names and forms. And that is called as Turiya Tattva. So to understand this Turiya Tattva, take this day-to-day example. Turiya means grammatically fourth, but Vedantically means one, not fourth. Something like a person is a son, number one, husband, number two, father, number three. But who is he? Man. So is the man fourth? No. Man is the one on which these three conditionings are superimposed, and out of one man, these three non-existing appearances has come out. Exactly the same way. Turiya means that absolute reality on which the conditioning of the identification with the gross body creates an illusion of waker and waking world. The conditioning of the subtle body and identification with that creates the dreamer and the dream world, and the conditioning of the total absence, the pragya and his deep sleep world. These three, Jagra, Sapna, Sushupti, these three are superimposed on Turiya, the absolute reality. And therefore, this Turiya has to be recognized as one's essential nature. So what is that Turiya? In the original mantra, it is very clearly and beautifully brought out, and that is the ultimate, where the mantra tells, I'll read the mantra. Atra अमात्र चतुर्थो अव्यवहार्यः प्रपंचोपशमः शिव अद्वैत एवं ओंकार आत्मा एव संविशति आत्मना आत्मानं य एवं वेद. This is the last 12th mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad. What is said here? Amatra. Amatra means what? Which cannot be measured. Finite things can be measured. Infinite cannot be measured. A, I, U, A, I, O, Aha, K, G. These are small. And the silence, see, you can say increase the volume, reduce the volume. It is a soft voice, it is a very bitter voice, Some people, when they talk, it pierces your drums. They don't know that. Their voice is piercing. Some people, when they talk, you cannot hear. All varieties. But when it comes to silence, amatra cannot be measured. See? Man measured with the measurement of father is called as a son. Man measured with the measurement of the wife is called as the husband. Man measured with the measurement of his son is called as a father. These three are measured, limited appearances on the infinite man. See, friends, the other day I gave example. One couple, they were fighting with each other and came to meet me. I said, before you fighting, you simply tell me, how many years you are married? So, we are married for 15 years. I said, another 4 years you will fight, then after that you will be all right. How can you tell so easily? I said, now you are a teenager. Whatever may be your age, who is fighting? The husband and the wife. The man and the woman never fights. And husband and the wife, nothing but fights. Now what is the age of the husband and wife? Is not the age of the man and woman. That auspicious day when they have sacrificed. See, friends. Therefore, amatra, the one which is infinite. And that infinity is that, like in the comparison to the sounds, silence is infinite. Be very attentive. But the silence is opposed to the sound. If there is a sound, there is no silence. If there is silence, there is no sound. This amatra Turiya Tattva is not opposed because it is absolute. See, what we know normally is only the relative. And therefore you will see in many ashrams, they have very big noisy boards, keep silence everywhere. And what is that silence? Don't talk to each other. But inside they are non-stop, like boiling going on. This is only because misunderstanding. Mauna is not stop talking to people. Bhagavad Gita says, Mana prasada saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha. Mauna is the discipline of the mind wherein you stop talking to yourself. That is real mauna. Talk to others if necessity. So what we understand silence as that which is opposed to the sounds, but we are not talking to that silence. Amatra. It is that silence which supports both the sounds and the silence, but doesn't get influenced by the sound or doesn't get enhanced by the silence. When you come to this, you transcend the relative existence. But normally we get lost only in this world. So amatra, chaturthaha, this is the fourth. This is the meaning of the fourth. So waking, dream, deep sleep, all of them are supported by this reality. Their presence doesn't disturb this reality. Their absence is not a loss to the reality. That which is beyond the gain and loss is the absolute. That absolute is to be recognized as one's essential nature. See, friends. Now what this man has to do to recognize that basically he is a man and not the son, husband or a father. What sadhana he has to do? Only one sadhana. Don't take these three relations seriously. Because who is disturbed? These three non-existing appearances, they are disturbed. And therefore, this reality is avivaharya. You cannot conduct any business with this thing. So, if there is a noise, Bhagwan will be disturbed. If he is disturbed, he is not a Bhagwan. It is something like, don't lit the fire. Why? The space will be burned. Or let there be no rains because the space will be wet. No. The space supports everything. Doesn't get disturbed by anything. Presence or absence of the four elements makes no difference to the space. Therefore, avivaharya. You cannot do any vivahar, any business conducted in this absolute reality because prapancha upashamaha. Prapancha, pachi vistare is the dhatu. Pancha means five. You know, this tiger is also called as Panchanana. That doesn't mean he has got 5 heads. Panchanana means he whose mouth opens very wide. Panchanana. Vistar, expansion. So this prapancha is what? It is an expansion of 5. 5 great elements, 5 tanmatras, 5 objects, then 5 sense organs, then 5 organs of action, pancha pranas, pancha upapranas, 5 prapancha. This expansion, prapancha upashamaha. In this absolute, all this appearance of multiplicity, disappears. In the waters, there is neither the ocean nor the waves. In the waters, neither there is steam nor there is ice. Prapancha upashamaha. All these are merely appearances. So, the same water we call by different names. Because our attention is not on the substratum, the water. Our attention is on the shape and the size of the iceberg. Our attention is on the steam's shape and the size. And therefore, we miss the waters. Exactly the same way. Our attention is on this objective world. And therefore, we miss our own essential nature. I'll give you an example. It's a very important thing to know. One of my good friend, he is a police officer in Delhi, but a totally different kind. One day he came, last time, he said, Swami, this time I am very busy, I am unable to come. I just came to meet you, take your blessings and go. I hardly have 5-10 minutes, I had to rush. So it was about 9 o'clock at night. So I told him, I said, okay, you are standing there, close the door, now switch off the lights. He switched off the lights. I said, keep your experience with you. Now switch on. He switched on. I said, now tell me, what are you seeing? He said, I am seeing the furniture, I am seeing you, your laptop, your khada, water bottle, AC. I said, go on telling. He said, that's wrong. I said, I am not seeing this. Then I am seeing the light. See, friends, when we get identified with the body, what we see? Worldly objects. When our attention is on the worldly objects, we miss our own sense organs. Then I told him, I am not seeing the light also. I am seeing the electricity. Can the electricity be seen? No. But can without the electricity there be light? No. So the moment I see the light, if I am able to cognize the presence of electricity, then my understanding is very subtle. In the same manner, the moment any experience happens, where are we? Are we in the object of experience, or the experience of the object, or the experiencer of the object, or the one who is beyond all the three? For such a person, prapancha upashamaha. There is no world. And this is Shiva, most auspicious, where there is no impurity of duality and dualism. Duality is dvaita. Dualism is dvandva. Heat and cold, joy and sorrow, they are called as dvandva or dualism. The knower and the known is called as dvaita. The experiencer and the experienced is called as dvaita, duality. So, Shiva Advaita. Now these two words, Prapancha Upashamaha and Advaita, Eva Omkaraha. With the sadhana of this Omkar, one has to ultimately come to this experience that we come to know as a result of our contemplation that Atma Eva Samvishati. Then one enters oneself. By what? Atmana Atmanam Evam Veda. one knows oneself without becoming a knower. So what is the truth? Knowledge without the knower. Experience without the experiencer. The joy without an enjoyer. Prapancha upashamaha advaita shivam eva onkaraha atmana atmanam evam veda. Here the knower and the known have dissolved in the knowledge where the duality of the knower and known has disappeared. This aspect needs more elaboration. Prapancha upashamaha and Advaita. This elaboration of these two words is the birthplace of this Vaitathya Prakaran. Otherwise, this Upanishad was over here itself. But these two words should be clearly grasped. Otherwise, they simply remain only words. And therefore, this Vaitathya Prakaranam begins. So, what is Vaitathya? Tatha means as it is. Vitatha means not as it is. Vaitathya is a noun. See? Vitatha is an adjective. So, Vaitathya. Vaitathya means what appears is not what is appearing, but something else. Or what is not recognized as it is. So what is Prapancha Upashama Advaita? The non-dual being without the burden of duality and dualism called as Prapancha. So that is the Tatha as it is. This has to be recognized. And it is for this purpose the teacher takes up this second chapter, Vaitathya Prakaranam. Vaitathya means what? There are three things to be known. One is something is, second is something is not, and third thing is although it is not, yet it appears. Three things. What is. Na sato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha. That which is going to be, that which is not going to be. So Sat and Asat. And we all suffer because of both of them. There are problems of having and there are problems of not having. See? Those who don't have children, they suffer. Oh, we don't have children. Those who have children, they suffer because of the children. Those who don't have money, they suffer. Those who have money, they suffer more. See, friends. Those who are married, they suffer. Those who are not married, they are. Swamiji, will you please guide me? Should I get married or should I follow sannyas? When people ask me, I tell them in a fraction of a second, get married. How can you tell so easily? I said, when you have a doubt, that means you need some hammering. So that experience is necessary. When you have real dispassion, then you will not ask anybody. See? Do we go and ask somebody, hey, I am taking food, will you please tell me whether my stomach is full or not? You should know. See? So these are the two problems. Problems of having, problems of not having. There is a third problem. Although something is not, yet one imagines. I am most unlucky. You are imagining, suffer. So that which is not, yet which appears, the third category is called a mithya or an illusion. Illusion appears outside. The cause of that illusion is a delusion inside. See friends, a deluded person alone goes through the illusions of life. A wise person also goes through the illusions of life without getting influenced by these illusions because he has no delusions. Therefore, we have to ultimately conclude that the three experiences that we go through, out of the three experiences, deep sleep experience is not a problem for us. It is for others when we snore. For us there is no problem. The real problems begin in the waking and the dream. So we have to find out what is the position of this waking and the dream experience. When these two experiences are clearly understood, then we can go to the next step. So first, Karika of the second chapter, Vaitathya Prakaranam, Vaitatyam sarva bhavanam swapna ahur manishinaha antasthanattu bhavanam samrudatvena hetuna. First, sarva bhavanam, of all the things which appear, swapne, in the deep sleep, in the dream experience. See, swapne. Those who have book, you must have seen there it is written Vaitatyam sarva bhavanam swapna ahur manishina. So it is a Sanskrit Sandhi Vigraha rule. Swapne, in the dream, sarva bhavanam, of all the things that appear, Vaitatyam, they are not as they appear. Who says this thing? Manishinaha ahuhu. Be attentive. A great master like Gaudapadacharya, he says, the wise people tell, not I am telling. See friends, and these cheap people here and there, see, I tell you, what I tell you? The problem is only that I. So the wise people tell that all the things which appear in the dream, they are not as they appear. Okay. On what basis you say this thing, sir? Antasthanat. Where is the dream experience? The dream is not experience outside. It is experience inside. Number one. Number two, no, according to the medical science, they say no dream lasts for more than few moments, 1 or 2 or 3 minutes. And in that dream, it is not that we see like, we have got the lungs or the liver or the kidney or the pancreas inside the body. Because they are inside the body, they are not unreal, agreed. But in the dream, what we see, we don't see the kidney and the kidney stone. We see there elephants and trains and aeroplanes. All of them cannot be contained within this small little body. Therefore, they must be appearing. It is something like, on the TV. We see a big inferno. Recently it happened in California. The whole area was burning. And we see on that TV screen, the TV screen is not burning. So it is not happening inside, it is somewhere else. In the same manner, when all the dreams that we are experiencing, they are all experiencing inside. And there, antasthanattu bhavanam samvrtatvena. But inside there is not enough space where the whole dream world can exist. Therefore, they cannot be real. First logic. Hetuna, because of this. So all that we see in the dream, whether good or bad, it is only the mental projection. And those who accept it, when they get out of the dream, they do not carry the burden of the dream in the waking. But those who are under the influence of this notion, they will be all the time talking about, oh, I had a very bad dream. And in their dream, somebody came and did this thing. Now what will happen? So Babaji is like me, they will encash these fools. This is a very bad dream. You should not have had it. Nobody has such a dream. I have not heard about such a dream in my whole life's practice. It is the most dangerous dream. But now what can be done? No, when you have come to us, there is upaya, there is a way out of it. They do this puja, do that puja, and you have to give this much dakshina. Then what will happen? Dream you will forget and suffer because of dakshina. It is a transfer of problems. आकाश से गिरे खजूर पे लटके. See, friends. So, once you accept this principle, all that is experienced in the dream is not real. Friends, there was a great master, probably in Lucknow. He was a follower of Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi. Born in 1906. Recently he died, 6 or 16. Right from childhood he was, and naturally that time born means in Pakistan. So, right from childhood he was extremely attracted toward Bhagwan Krishna. And he was having always the vision of Bhagwan Krishna has come, he used to talk to him and all that. Okay, you keep on talking, what next? There was no fulfillment in him. So he happened to go and meet Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi. And Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi is absolutely silent. Ours is a relative silence. His was absolute silence. Turiya sthiti. So he stayed with him for a few days, and one day he said, see Bhagwan, I get the vision of Bhagwan Krishna whenever I want. Very clearly, as I see you, I see him. What more I have to do for furthering my spiritual progress? He was told, whatever you see, whether a Bollywood actor or Bhagwan Krishna, these are the projections of the mind. Have the courage. Any experience which begins and which ends is not the truth. That experience which never began and therefore which never ends is the truth. Then we come to know there's only one experience, and that is our being. We don't begin with a birth. We don't modify with the modifications of the body. We don't end when the body dies. And therefore, we can never experience our absence. In this, There is no coming and going. This experience is not through the agency of mind. Therefore, Sarva Bhavanam Swapne Vaitathya Ahu Manishinaha. The wise people say all that you see in the dream is only the mental projection. And Antasthanatu Bhavana, because within the limitation of the body, nobody sees the dream outside. See? And therefore, in a small little area, there cannot be any possibility that we are seeing the dream as real, although it appears as real. Now the second point. Nobody experiences the dream as a dream. During the experience of the dream, it is a solid reality. Therefore, if the dream is a frightening one, our heartbeats increase, we get perspiration, and we start gasping. See? Like, many times some people get the dream that somebody is sitting on my chest and, throttling me, and when they get out of it, thank God, it was nobody. If it was real, where that somebody has gone who was throttling your throat. So, when the dream is going, it is a solid reality. When the dream is over, we don't go on inquiry. Go to the police station, sir, I have come to surrender, please arrest me. What you have done, Babaji? I have killed my wife. So he looks at the police. He said, from your face, it doesn't look you can kill even a mosquito. You killed a wife? Where did you kill? In the dream. So what he will tell? You are a gentleman, but you have come to a wrong place. Go to a mental hospital. The sins committed in the dream are not valid in the waking experiences because they were only imaginations. We attend you. If bad experiences are not real, how can the good experiences be real? Experience is experience. Whether you see a dacoit or whether you see God is only the mental projection. Because whatever we have given importance, that alone is projected by the mind and the dreams happen. See? So this great master, when he went to Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, he told, I see Bhagavan Krishna and all that. Bhagavan kept quiet. He said, please guide me further. He said, you drop that Bhagavan Krishna. This is only the projection of the mind. Why? Because so much identified with the sense organs. We know only one way of gathering knowledge, and that one way is functioning through the limitations of the sense organs. Therefore, these people who do the sadhana, kundalini, awakening, etc., you will see their experiences fall only in the purview of these 5 experiences. Either they get a good smell, or they get good taste, or they hear some sound, or they see some form, or they feel somebody has come and put something on them. Because these are the only 5 types of experiences we have gone through. We do not know the 6th experience. And therefore, these experiences are taken as real. But if a person is deaf, for him, the sounds don't exist. A person who is blind, for him, colors and forms don't exist. And therefore, our experiences of the waking gathered through the sense organs, etc., that is the only parameter which we can project in the dream and see all the experiences. Therefore, all the experiences of the dream, they are only vitatha. They may appear, but they are not. See, what is sat that we understand, which cannot be negated? What is asat, which is never there? The third one is, although it is not there, yet it appears. Like the mirage waters. mirage waters appear not all the time. Mirage waters appear only n number of conditions are fulfilled. It has to be a very hot day. The sun should be on the top of your head, and there should be open ground or a road, whatever. And when you are going, you will see the mirage water so clearly that if some vehicles are coming on the same road, you can see the reflection and everything as if there is water. Because we can see so vividly clear exactly as real, does it mean it is there? No. But when these mirage waters can appear? Only under n number of conditions if they are fulfilled. If they are not fulfilled, this mirage cannot be seen. Now apply the same principle. This waking world or the dream world, when can we experience it? It's only under n number of conditions. When we are identified with the gross body, then only the waking world exists. In the deep sleep, where are we? When are we? And what are we? Because we are not identified with the body, therefore when time has disappeared, where space has disappeared, what object has disappeared. We go beyond time, space and object, and therefore we are nowhere, nobody and have nothing. And as a result, we are happy. Therefore, Vaitathya, Vitatha, appearance, illusion does not mean we don't experience. We do experience. But that doesn't mean because we experience it is real. See friends, this notion we have to get out of our head. Because we experience it is real. We also experience the blue color of the sky. That doesn't mean it is there. We also experience the sunrise and the sunset, and the earth is stationary, but it is the other way around. The earth is continuously moving and the sun is stationary. Because we experience, that doesn't mean. And how long this experience will continue, be very attentive. Sunrise and sunset will continue to appear even if we have got a Nobel Prize in physics. He will also see the same thing, sunrise and sunrise. How long? Till he is associated with the relation between the sun and the earth. If he goes away from this relationship between sun and the earth, both sunrise and sunset will disappear. Meaning what? Till such time we are identified with our gross body, this world will continue to appear as real. Till such time the dream is going on, the dream will continue to appear as real. So what should be the spiritual practice? This conditioning, where from this appears, this conditioning has to be discarded. See friends, therefore, prapancha upashamam, first principle, till such time we give a value of reality to this world, we will continue to suffer in this world. So first of all, we have to start from the dream, because we may be able to accept that the dream is an illusion. Continuing further, adirghatvacha kalasya gatva deshanna pashyati pratibuddhascha vai sarvaha tasmin deshena vidyate. It is said here, adirghatvacha kalasya gatva. In the dream, sometime we go, let's say we are gone to USA. And how much time it takes? It takes a hell of a time. And how long was the dream? Few moments. So, adirghatvacha kalasya gatva deshanna pashyati. And that whatever beautiful thing you are seeing in the dream, where is that when you are awake? You cannot go and come back within that short period of time. But we have seen everything. And further, pratibuddhascha vai sarvaha. And in that dream, suppose you are in Switzerland and enjoying lovely drives and everywhere going and all fun, and your dream breaks. You don't wake up in Switzerland. You wake up in your own house. So where was all that? Therefore, the teacher gives two logics. One, the time required to go to a particular place in the dream and come back is not enough. What happens in the dream period. And second thing, when one is awakened from the dream, he doesn't awaken to that place where he was in the dream. And therefore, dream is only an illusion, it is not real. See how important it is. Continuing further, abhavascha rathadinam shruyate nyayapurvakam vaitatyam tena vai praptam swapnahu prakashitam. So rathadinam abhavascha shruyate. Similarly, all the things that we see in the dream. Now during the period of writing of these words, the great masters, they must be having the experience of the chariot, etc. But today, what we will dream the 380 Boeing, or maybe a big ship going for a cruise. So, all these objects, abhavaha, they were never there. And shruyate nyaya purvakam, thus logically we have come to this conclusion. All that is seen, all that is experienced cannot be real in the dream. Vaitathyan tena vai praptam. Therefore, they are all illusions. They are not as they appear. See? And this is what is called as the dream. Swapne ahu prakashitam. This is how the Upanishad has very clearly mentioned that it is prapancha upashamaha. There is no world of experience as a dream. It is only not real. It is an illusion. Then thereafter, antasthanat tu vedanam tasmat jagrate smrutam yatha tatra yatha tatha swapne samrutatvena vidyate. See? As much the dream objects are unreal with the logic that we have seen, the objects of the waking are also equally unreal. Here we get a shock of our life. See, friends. I was reading one book recently, a very good book. The name of that book is Holographic Universe. And in that, they have put forward a beautiful explanation. Every object in this world which appears is crossing off the light rays in a particular form as the holograms are prepared. Like when Mr. Modi was giving his lectures in India, in one place he used to give lecture and he used to appear on dozens of platforms as the hologram. It was not real, but appearing to be real. Exactly the same way. All these light waves, which are not linear, but which are wavy, when they cross each other in a particular way, then the forms start appearing. See, friends. Therefore, here the teacher says, Antasthanatu Vedanam Tasmat Jagrate Smrutam. Similarly, in the waking world also. Because by what we experience the dream? We experience the dream by the mind. So, one experience by the dream is taken as illusion. How you take the other experience as real? Either accept dream is also real, or accept waking is also an illusion. But our statement is dream is illusion, we accept, the waking is real, and this is how the samsara begins. And when the waking is real and when the dream is real, When the dream is going on, it is a solid reality. But when the dream is over, one comes out of the dream, then we talk about, oh, it was just a dream. In the same manner, when we wake out of this waking dream, where all the Jivan Mukta Purush live. What is the meaning of waking out of this waking dream? Presently, we are living as body. When we live as body, thereafter, I am man, I am woman, I am young, I am old, I am husband and wife. This will continue till such time we are living as the body. If you start living through the body, but no more as the body, then all the brother, father, mother, sister, husband, wife, everything will disappear. Like an actor, he functions through a character without becoming that character. Therefore, don't trust any wise man when he says, I love you. See in Bhagavad Gita, in some places Bhagavan Krishna says, Same Bhaktaha Me Priyaha. Such devotees are extremely dear to me. Bhaktaste Tiva Me Priyaha. And the same Bhagavan Krishna, without taking Achman, he says, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu Name Dveshosti Na Priyaha. Don't trust the Babajis. I was in one place, and when we were going, that lady became emotional. Swamiji, you call me Mama, but then you are going and you don't feel bad about it. I said, Mama, I feel, but I can't cry. I got dehydration in the eyes. So her husband was wise for a change, and he said, Hey Bhagyavan, these people who have left their own mother, do you think they will hold on to these fake mothers? How true it is. Either you love all or you love none. Like the gold doesn't love only the form of Bhagavan Krishna. Gold doesn't say, don't make me a Kamsa, make me only Krishna. No. For the gold, neither the Krishna is holy nor Kamsa is unholy. Name Dveshosti Na Priya. So what is the meaning of therefore getting out of this waking dream? This is the only way. Let us start living through the body and suspend living as the body. Friends, it is so simple. It is not difficult. But for a spiritual practice means we become so awfully serious. See, we should have particular thing, do this, do that, and all doing. The real spiritual practice is undoing. Enough of doing. But in yoga, everywhere, they will be only talking about this becoming. Earlier, I was a bhogi. Since I took to yoga, I have become a yogi. Earlier, I was waking up late. Now, I wake up early. Earlier, I was eating non-vegetarian. Now, I eat vegetarian. That I is the culprit. That we are not rejecting. The day we understand spiritual practice is undoing and unbecoming, then we are on the right track. And for that, this Mandukya Upanishad is needed. See, friends. But those who have that disease of doing something, they do everything. Meditation they will do and suffer silently. See? Let the things happen. then we come to know as much the dream world is an illusion, so much is the waking world equally illusion. There is no difference. Because this expanse that we see, where from the expanse has come? This expanse of the space is nothing but a projection by the mind. When the mind is enfolded as in deep sleep, where is the space? And when the space is not there, then the four elements are not there. The world is not there. So where everything has gone? It has gone nowhere because it was nowhere. See, friends, that is why Vedanta is not for those who want to do something in this world. Vedanta is not for those who are chui mui, touch me not brand. Small little thing, enough that they start leaking. But I have not seen Bhagavan Krishna for so many. Suffer. Nayamatma balahine na labhya. You are the truth. Discover that. Then only we really mean studying of Upanishad. Otherwise it becomes only academic, In this Upanishad it is said. But in other Upanishad it is said. Why this is said so different? There are more than dozens of theories of creation in the Upanishad literature. Some places it is said it is the Sankalpa. Some places it is said it is a sequence. Some places it is said it is a sudden Big Bang. Which is the reality? Reality is you, not the samsara. We'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.